love you, Uso, but all of this is too much. You've changed, and I don't know if I can be with you anymore. This is Usonwa's story. She had always been confident, a girl with a magnetic personality that drew people to her effortlessly. But like many, she had her insecurities, and for her, it was her body. Growing up in Lagos, where the pressure to look a certain way was overwhelming, Uso couldn't help but compare herself to the influencers and celebrities she saw online. They all had one thing in common: curves. Her boyfriend, Timmy, never directly said anything about her body, but Uso noticed how his eyes lingered on women with fuller figures. He would comment on their looks in passing, and though it was harmless, it planted a seed of doubt in Uso's mind. She started feeling inadequate, questioning if Timmy truly found her attractive. The thought gnawed at her until it became an obsession. One day, after scrolling through her Instagram feed and seeing yet another before and after transformation post, Uso made a decision. She was going to get a Brazilian butt lift, BBL, to enhance her curves. It was risky, but she was convinced it was worth it to make Timmy happy and secure her place in his heart. Despite the warnings from her close friends and the horror stories she heard, Uso was undeterred. It's not like I'm going to one of those quack places, she reassured herself. She saved up and eventually found a clinic with a good reputation. The surgeon promised her everything would be fine, and Uso believed him. The price was steep, but Uso saw it as an investment in her future with Timmy. The surgery was scheduled for a Friday morning. Uso woke up feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. Timmy had no idea about her plans. She wanted it to be a surprise. He would be blown away, she thought, imagining his reaction. But things didn't go as planned. The surgery itself was more painful than Uso had anticipated, and the recovery was brutal. The painkillers barely dulled the throbbing in her lower back and thighs. Days turned into weeks, and instead of getting better, Uso's condition worsened. Her body started to reject the fat injection, causing severe infections. Her skin around the surgical area became inflamed and started to discolor. Desperate, Uso contacted the clinic. Their reassurance felt hollow. The surgeon was dismissive, attributing her complications to her body's unique reaction, something beyond his control. Realizing she was in serious trouble, Uso sought help from another doctor, who was appalled at the state of her condition. "You should never have gone through with this," he said, shaking his head as he explained the extent of the damage. Uso was devastated. Timmy, who had initially been concerned, soon grew distant. The spark in their relationship faded as Uso's condition worsened. Instead of the confident woman he fell in love with, Uso became withdrawn, ashamed of what she had done to herself. She couldn't bear to look in the mirror, let alone show her face in public. One evening, as Uso lay in bed, recovering from yet another surgery, Timmy walked into the room with a heavy look on his face. She could see the hesitation in his eyes, and her heart sank. "Uso, we need to talk," he began, his voice low and filled with regret. "I can't do this anymore." Uso stared at him, trying to make sense of his words. "What do you mean, Tim?" she asked, though she already knew the answer. "I love you, Uso, but all of this is too much. You've changed, and I don't know if I can be with you anymore," he said, avoiding her gaze. Words hit her like a sledgehammer. Uso felt a wave of emotions: anger, sadness, but most of all, a deep consuming regret. I did this for you, she whispered, tears streaming down her face. I never asked you to, Timi replied, his voice soft but firm. I loved you the way you were. This isn't what I wanted. With that, Timi left, leaving Oso alone in the darkness of her room. Her heart shattered. The very thing she had done to keep him had driven him away. She was left to pick up the pieces of her life, knowing that she had lost not only the man she loved, but a part of herself in the process. In the months that followed, Uso struggled to find herself again. The scars on her body were a constant reminder of her choices, but the scars on her heart cut even deeper. She lost friends, her job, and the confidence that once defined her.